Here's Paddy Power's new and exclusive kicker feature. Simply place a bet, add a kicker, and if your team wins big, you'll win bigger. 18 plus gambleaware.co.uk. T&Cs apply.
Hello there, it's Bruce Millington, Dan Childs, Mark Langdon, and from Paddy Power, Sean O'Sullivan. And we've got a triple TV header on Sunday. 3 live Premier League games, that's good. Kicking off at 12 o'clock with Watford versus Stoke. Childs, are you going?
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, got a season ticket, so yeah,
Excellent.
we're taking the little.
You and
the little
Joseph,
boy.
yeah?
Yeah, me and Joseph.
What's the name of the stand? Do you know? I don't know the name of any stand at Watford. Do you, Mark?
Yeah, well, no, you got the.
There's one. Oh, go on, Chelsea.
If you have a guess, you'll almost certainly
like
get
Will
one.
Surely
Elton John stand.
Elton John.
Yeah, the Elton John stand and the Graham Taylor stand. So,
oh,
yeah,
right, okay.
Yeah.
So where are you?
I'm in the Elton John stand.
The Elton John.
Yeah.
Excellent, that's good then. All right, how are we betting on this one, please, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, as you'd imagine, it's extremely evenly matched here in terms of the two teams' abilities. So Watford with home advantage, they're 11-8. The draw 9-4, very popular, and Stoke are 21-10.
I'm glad about the scheduling of this because I just realised I've booked up for Sunday morning to go and watch that new film. Is it called Allied with Brad Pitt? I'm looking forward to that. It looks quite good. So I'm going to that, and then I'll be back in time for the afternoon games. What will I be missing here, Dan? A Watford win?
Yeah, I think you will be missing a Watford win. I mean, on the negative side for Stoke, I mean, they've got the 2 central midfielders are out. Whelan looks highly unlikely to recover from injury. Joe Allen suspended. So that leaves a big hole in there. Mbula looks like he's going to come in. I think it cost them £18.5 million. Hasn't been seen since September the 10th when Stoke lost 4-0 at home to Spurs. Probably Stoke's worst performance of the season. So there's obviously something amiss there with him. He's not living up to his price tag. So that's a Stoke negative. There's a lot of Watford positives as well. I mean, the game last week against Leicester, they played really, really well. It was a 2-1, thoroughly deserved to win. He changed the system a little bit, played one up front. Igalo's not really been doing the business, but allowed Pereira and Capoue to get a lot closer to the front man. And
you like Pereira, don't you? You've discovered him, basically.
He's been... He started off really, really well. Then he's had to fill in on the left. He's not really been involved in the games as much as he should. Against Leicester, given the chance to play closer to Deeney, he was superb. Scored a fantastic goal. Had a role in the first goal as well for Capoue, who was back to his early season form again. Benefited from the formation change. So
maybe a Watford win and a little side order of Pereira.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Pereira could be interested in and Capoue as well in the first scoring markets. One thing as well to mention: last season Watford were very, very good against the teams outside of that top bracket, especially first half of the season. And they're doing it again. I mean, if you look at the results against teams outside the top 4, they won 5, drawn 3, lost 1. Very, very strong against the slightly not stellar teams.
Charles, he makes a great case for Watford. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I prefer both teams to score in this one. I mean, Watford have scored in every home game this season, but the only clean sheet they've kept at home came against Hull, who are the worst team in the Premier League, and by some considerable distance, I would argue as well. And Stoke, for all of their issues this season, have actually scored in 6 of their 7 away matches. And I agree with Dan that their midfield area, they could get dominated. But actually going forward with Shaqiri and Arnautovic, Boney as well, I think they've got enough about them to at least score a goal in this game. I'm not as confident on Dan, but he knows a lot more about Watford than me. But I prefer both teams to score.
What price is the old BTTS, Sean?
Yeah, it's 4-6 here. Yeah, it's great when we all kind of get along. Like my main tip here is Watford to win and both teams to score. So it's a combination of both. I mean, it's a 10-3 shot there. I mean, the lads gave enough reasons there for why both are really decent bets. Capoue as well, I've written down here as a kind of a outside first goal scorer shot. Dan mentioned him there along with Pereira. He's a 10-1 shot. I mean, 5 goals in the 1,000 minutes of football. It's pretty impressive this year. He's really stepped it up a notch. Yeah, and I just think, it's pretty much a goal every 2 games at the moment he's averaging. So I think 10-1 looks a little big.
When you go to the cinema, do you think it's a bit out of order to be on your phone? I don't like it personally, because if you're looking at the screen and someone down the front, there's just a little sort of square of light. I find it quite distracting.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Okay, I won't. I'll come blinking out into the sunshine and hopefully find that Watford have won 2-1. 2:15, Arsenal versus Bournemouth. There should be some slick passing going on here. 2 very easy on the eye teams. Arsenal undefeated in the last 11 Premier League matches, but will face a test from a Bournemouth side who are going very nicely under Eddie Howe, who in my view should be the next Arsenal manager. How do you bet, Paddy Power?
1-3 Arsenal here, Bruce. The draw 4-1 and Bournemouth the rather ugly price 17-2.
Blimey, 17 seems mainstream compared to how some of your rivals bet these days.
Or us sometimes on a day.
35 to 19 and all that nonsense. I couldn't touch Arsenal at that price. Dan, could you?
No, I think they're a little bit short. I mean, Bournemouth forgot the downside of Jack Wilshere is ineligible. He has been playing very well for them recently, so that's a bit of a blow for them. But I think there are plenty of, despite Arsenal being unbeaten for so long, there's a few negatives, I think, in their recent performances. Against Spurs, who were injury hit at the time, they didn't play that well
against
in that
Man
game.
U, they were just shit.
Against Man United,
they were absolutely terrible.
They were very lucky, and I watched the game last night as well, and I thought they were very lucky to get a 2-2 against. I mean, Paris Saint-Germain are a very, very good side, but still didn't play that well, and probably had to work quite hard to get the result as well. So it might have taken a little bit out of them. But I don't think, despite that, I would go as far as to say lay them. I just think that there's other ways to get with Bournemouth. Callum Wilson has been their main striker for a while. He's had a little spell out. He's had a bit of a bad injury record, but he's back again now. 9-1 to score the first goal. A game that Arsenal might be a bit jaded at the start. Bournemouth might start the quicker, and Wilson to score first looks a bet to me.
Okay, Mark, what do you make of this one?
Yeah, I mean, this is Arsenal are unbeaten in 18 matches. And Bournemouth terrible usually away to the big teams, but I like you, Sue, couldn't back Arsenal at the price there. Really, I mean, I was tempted to lay Arsenal, but I'm Bournemouth's away record, like I say, to these big teams, they usually just get turned over. Was maybe looking at draw half time, Arsenal full time, as a way of Arsenal, just their extra quality coming through late on possibly. But this is not a game I'd be having a decent bet in, I don't think.
No?
Quite trappy, yeah.
Will you watch it?
I probably will.
Could you watch it without a bet?
Well, I'll be in the office, so yeah. I mean, it's better than speaking to some of the colleagues on the desk. So yeah, yeah.
Have you seen the rota for Sunday? Is it looking good, team?
I'm sports editor. Goes downhill rapidly after that.
Sean, what do you think will happen when Arsenal meet Bournemouth?
Yeah, I agree completely with the lads. I think Arsenal are too short, but I mean, look, their record speaks for themselves. They do generally. They're not getting beat too often, especially at home. So I think they'll get it done. I'll kind of pick kind of a Mark Langan special market, kind of the winning margin. I think that I think Arsenal will win, and I think they'll probably just win by the one goal. I mean, it's a 13-5 shot. I think it's pretty decent. I mean, at home this year, they've actually only beaten one team by more than a goal, which is slightly surprising. That was only Chelsea. But I mean, in general, they tend to get it done, but they're not really too convincing at home in terms of winning by more than that goal margin. So 13-5 seems pretty big there.
I think that they paid for both clubs without Jack Wilshere is tough. Anyone?
A phobie?
Oh, okay.
It's not then, is it? Not when you got Mark Langdon's super football brain. Right, 4:30. The hat trick of games concludes with Southampton v Everton, which should be really, really good. Mind you, we said that about Southampton v Liverpool. And blow me down with a feather. It was 0-0. I didn't see that coming. But Southampton-Everton looks a really, really good game. And Sean O'Sullivan, give us your firm's latest prices.
Southampton here, they're even money, so they're actually rated slightly better than Everton in Asia, which I think is really interesting. The draw is 5-2 and Everton 11-4.
That is interesting, Dan. What do you think there?
I think they are probably a slightly better team than Everton, but I think the timing of this game where it's fallen, I would actually want to be with Everton. They're playing in the Europa League on Thursday. They're still battling to get through in that competition. They've left a couple of players at home, Tadic and Font, with an eye on the Everton game. But their record after Europa League is really poor. I mean, they've had one win in four on the Sundays after Europa League games. That win was a 1-0 at home to Swansea, the bottom team. So it's they lost 2-1 at home to Hull the last time away to Hull the last time after Europa League. So,
and that was late goals, wasn't it?
I mean,
they led
Southampton.
They did win the game comfortably, but again, they didn't defend that fantastically. And I just think Everton have had all week to prepare, and on those grounds, 11-4, I think that's a big price.
Do you think Koeman will know a bit about Southampton and put that to good use, or is that a bit of a myth?
No, that could be a factor as well.
Can't do any harm, can it?
Everton haven't been playing well. That's the biggest concern there. But no, I just think that preparation-wise, they'll be better off.
You're just having a straight win on Everton.
I think I'll be looking at the double chance price as well, but the 11-4 just stood out to me as a really big price.
Yeah, I thought that seemed a decent price. What do you think, Lango?
Well, Paddy Power shortest about the market that I was interested in, which is under 2.5 goals. I mean, Southampton, 5 of their 6 at home in the Premier League have been under 2.5. I mean, Pure's got them defensively set up excellently, as they showed against Liverpool. Really did lack ambition, though, in that game. Van Dijk, is probably one of the best defenders in the Premier League.
He's a beast, isn't he?
There aren't too many good defenders in the Premier League. He would be one of them, no doubt about that. I mean, you mentioned earlier, who could Liverpool buy? I mean, if they could get someone like Van Dijk, that would be great for them. Everton have only won one of their last 8. I'm just not. I can see Koeman coming here with a plan not to get beat after what happened in the last away game at Chelsea, where they were absolutely battered. So that's why I was looking at the unders. Wouldn't be surprised if this finished in a draw, low scoring draw.
Sean, when you do your over/under price for that game, does the price just spew out of a computer and you put it up, or do you get a computer price and then think, I need to tweak this?
We generally we kind of, without giving loads away, but we generally just input kind of...
Can you give loads away? We don't know exactly what happens. Come
Why
on.
not? Sure. I mean, it's fairly common knowledge. I mean, a lot of the stuff, it would be very model driven, but you require an input. The thing about models is, I mean, it has to start somewhere, and it generally is from a trader input, and it can do everything off of that, but it still requires a solid input at the start. So we would enter an over/under 2.5 line in a win-draw-win, and from there, kind of Bob's your uncle, we can pretty much get whatever we want out of it, which is great. Let the kind of boffins do that kind of stuff. But no, we would have a direct impact on the over/under 2.5 from there, just through kind of Poisson and stuff. You can get 1.5, 0.5, 3.5, 4.5. All the other ones derive off that, but the 2.5 line we would put a bit of thought into.
And are you happy to be shortest on that?
Yeah, I am. I really like that angle. I mean, the bet I'm having here is kind of high scoring half to second half at 11 to 10, and it really goes along kind of the route the lads are saying there. I mean, 8 of Southampton's 12 goals this season, they've actually been in the second half, as well as like 10 of Everton's 15, 2/3 have also been in the second half. So I could easily see it kind of pushing on to 0-0 at half time, and then either like a 1-1 at full time kind of thing, or one of the teams is narrowly grinding out a 1-0 win with that goal kind of coming late on. So I'll stick to that high scoring half second at 11 to 10.
Good stuff. Many thanks, chaps. Hope you have a great weekend. What are the weekend plans, Dan?
Watford and work, really, yeah.
So work Saturday, Watford Sunday,
that's right, yeah.
And Mark, you're working Sunday. Are you sports editor Sunday? aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm working Saturday, sports editor Sunday. Michael Oliver is the referee at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, we thought he might be, didn't we?
Yeah, I wouldn't be amazed if he has to dish out a red to one of the Spurs players at some stage, particularly if they, do get behind in that one.
Absolutely. And Sean, what's Katrina got planned for you this weekend?
Oh, loads, yeah. Working and moving house. It's absolutely
moving house. Is this the Portugal? This is the Portugal win coming in, is it?
Well, I used to live with kind of two of my friends there, James and Steve. I literally had the ideal situation. Like, I mean, living with two of my best friends, and the girlfriend moved in as well, which it kind of worked. It worked fine for a time, but now it's time, unfortunately. Yeah, got to expand the wings, unfortunately.
Oh,
so
really?
IKEA is getting an awful doing at the moment, and I absolutely hate the place. So it's
IKEA. Where it seems like there's a law that if you go into IKEA, you've got to walk at half the speed you normally would and hold hands. It's like they're in a bloody museum, isn't it? Wandering around looking at glassware and racks and things like that.
Oh, it's shocking. I've never been more interested in the Bayern Munich kind of Rostov match because, I mean, it fell nicely at kind of that time I was wandering around with a phone, bumping into every trolley, but had to spend the time.
The best
kind of
thing to do
way.
there is to walk around it backwards. That really confused everybody else.
My favourite IKEA story is when Wilco's dad wore a yellow polo shirt to IKEA in the British IKEAs. I don't know if it's the same in Ireland. All the members of staff wear a yellow polo shirt. So Wilco's dad unwittingly wore a yellow polo shirt and had to spend all the time pointing people towards where houseplants were and that kind of thing. Well, I hope the move goes well, Sean. I hope the punting goes well, lads. Thank you very much for your tips. Thank you for listening. If you liked it, please do go onto iTunes, subscribe and rate us. We're back next Thursday with more Football Postcast, and we've got the Racing Postcast tomorrow, so do join us for that.
The Football Postcast in association with Paddy Power. Their new iPhone app is easier than the verdict at a Blatter hearing, so download it now.